Testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Hope this works because we are so cool. Well, hi. We are French living in our 70s. I'm Wayne.
And I'm Catherine, and this is our video on some of the observations that we've come across we've been here 2.5 weeks, and we've noticed some things that are a little bit different, and we're just going to share them with you in no real particular order. Just to have a list here, and we're going to go through it. So the first thing that we observed, and some of these we apologize, but we have mentioned a little bit before, but one of the things we noticed is when you're looking for a particular store, say it's home goods store or even grocery store or maybe a kitchen store, you don't know what they are, and you don't know which store is selling what, so you have to kind of go right into the store to find out, oh, this is for, home goods, or this is for something else. So that's a little bit of a challenge because we're not familiar with the names of the stores.
And it's not that the fact that you just look at the name, because the name could be some fancy, fancy schmancy French thing, and so you don't know what kind of store that is until you go and look at the window, go back. Okay, here we go. Because they don't have like Home Depot or
right,
of course, or Home Goods, kind of thing.
But they do have similar stores. You just have to figure out which ones are which.
And that's just the way it is.
Yeah, that's cool. So we've also realized that more than likely, if you have a question and you can't formulate that in French, if you go up to a young person, they're a little more recently have learned English in their classes, and they're a little more easy to engage in a conversation in a little bit of broken English to help you out. We found that almost everyone is super friendly, super willing to help. Yesterday we went to a little restaurant in the town square and met the owner of the restaurant, and she was helping us with our French so we would know how to ask for things, and it was great.
Yeah, she knew enough English. She'd been evidently in a what do you call that? Mon père, back when she was...
Oh, au pair.
Au pair, when she was her 20s
she shared
or
that
something.
with us.
And so she knew English, but she struggled a little bit trying to go back and forth. So between the three of us, we finally got something to eat.
Yeah.
Usually if you ask people, do you maybe English or everything, they'll say no, because what in their mind is, do you speak English fluently? And no, just like if somebody's, do you speak French? Well, I know some words, but fluent, no. So,
yeah.
But they just find that people that, so far nobody's been said,
everybody's been
us.
super friendly.
It's
so
nice.
That's been nice. Refrigerators. We've mentioned this. Our refrigerator is very small. It's like a dorm room refrigerator, and it didn't come with a freezer.
No.
So we actually ordered one, a little freezer off Amazon, which works great. And as Americans, we can also have ice, which is kind of a big deal to us.
Yeah, they don't give you ice.
Yeah.
If they do, it's just a couple of pieces. You don't
Right.
get a big glass full of ice. Which
Yeah.
most people kind of aware of that now.
Yeah, that's true.
But it is nice to have ice.
And we've also noticed that smoking is very popular.
A lot.
Yes, pretty much everywhere you go, people are smoking.
But not in the stores.
No.
They don't do that.
Or
Back
inside the restaurants.
30 years ago, 40 years ago, it would have been for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's all outside smoking now.
You just see more smoking here, at least than we were used to in the United States. So it's just different. No clothes dryer. We have mentioned that before. Most homes do not have a clothes dryer unless they're a little more upscale. And we are learning to get along without it. We actually have a towel heater on the wall in the bathroom, which helps, for sheets, to hang those on to get those a little bit more dry than just air drying them. So
Yeah, so when it's wash day, you got your undies hanging on doorknobs and
we do have a rack
Yeah.
that we can use, but
yeah, but it takes up so much room, so it's
you don't want to invite strangers over into your
yeah,
house.
it's not having over guests for dinner, when you're doing wash day.
That's right. Parking is difficult. Parking on the street, it's a premium. And we noticed, being here just a couple of days, we noticed that there were blue, kind of intermittent blue stripes on one area of the curb, and found out that meant that was short-term parking. And somewhere you can get a display sticker
I think
or
it's
something.
at the Marie or the police station, and basically they give you evidently it's like a dial thing, and how long you're going to be there. It's for local people to park
Yeah.
for short term.
Yeah.
And I guess it's not really policed, quote unquote, and so people just.
But you don't want to be the Americans who get policed. No.
Right. Yeah. So
Anyway.
you park 20 minutes, half hour, and just when you're coming back, and then
Yeah, the little dial, you put the time that you're coming back, so that they know that realize you only should be there.
We're getting a
short
car
time.
on Tuesday. Getting our car, so that'll start to become something for us to.
Well, we realized after being here a short time that a car, when you live in a small town, you have things pretty local that you can walk to, but getting out and seeing more of the area and the pretty countryside and different towns, you kind of need a car. You need a vehicle to get around.
We're in an area that's wouldn't call it a village per se, where there's only 500-600 people in. That's kind of in the country. So you kind of go, well, you definitely need a car for that. That you go to Paris, Toulouse, Lyon, Marseille, they probably don't need a car per se.
Yeah, if you're going to live in the bigger cities, you don't.
Because of transportation, buses, and the train and everything. So we're kind of in the middle of that. Our town here is about 3,500 people within the area. But if you want to go out, there is bus and there's train, but it's over there.
Yeah, you have to get the bus to get to the train.
It's a long walk.
Yeah.
So
Anyway.
we opted to get a car, and so.
And again, you have to be patient in France. That's the one thing. If you're going to move to France, you have to learn patience, because they don't do things quickly.
No.
So we picked out a car, and the car won't be ready for a week because they're going to look it over for us and take their time looking it over for us, which is fine.
Register it.
Register.
They do that for you.
Yeah. But things just move a lot more slowly, and when you get an appointment, as we have mentioned, it's typically, you don't get an immediate appointment within
a day or two.
A day or two. It's next week you're going to have an appointment.
Everything's next week.
Yeah. So patience is a big deal. You buy eggs at the supermarket, and they sit out on the counter. You don't have to refrigerate them, and you could actually see a feather or two on the eggshell.
Because they don't wash them. In North America, eggs have to be washed before they hit the consumer. They don't do that here, and so they're right out at the chicken's butt.
I can't believe you just said that.
Hey, just making it real.
Dogs are important to the French people, and not that there's a lot of this, we're not tiptoeing around it, but they don't clean up after their dogs. So you do kind of have to watch where you're walking, because every block or so there'll be a mess on the sidewalk, and that's what they do. They don't clean up after their dogs. I guess they wait for the rain. So that's a little bit different.
They love their dogs. I mean, right in a restaurant.
Yeah.
Bar.
Dogs. Yeah. So they, yeah, it's a little different than it is in the States. So also, I was excited, being a gluten-free person in the United States, to be able to eat French flour. And of course, one of the main things I had wanted was a croissant. And we found that you don't buy them in the grocery store. They taste not as good as you get in the bakeries. So just a heads up on that.
Boulangerie.
Boulangerie.
Boulangerie. Come on, get it right.
Yeah, get it right. Let's see. Very narrow streets. I think you've seen that from our videos in the past.
And watch when you come. If you're coming to a corner, don't just start walking because you figure, well, the street's like 2 steps over to the next sidewalk. Cars, they just show up. I almost got hit today because I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah, you have to pay attention to the drivers. They're not giving way to the pedestrians as much. They do a little bit. They do that, but you just have to be careful.
I don't think they're intentionally trying to hit anybody, but they don't slow down.
So when we did have the rental car, we noticed driving on the freeway, the signs that they put up of where the next town is or the next off-ramp is, it is reversed to what we're used to. So they list the closest one on the bottom.
Yeah, so there was 3 cities coming up. We would, in the States, you have on the top, the first one is the first one you come to, and they say that's 5 miles, the next one 10 miles, another one 30 miles. Well, they go the other way.
Yeah.
So the bottom was the first one that's shorter distance, longer, and all the way up. All of a sudden I looked at that and I thought, well, that's odd. Well, it's odd to me, but not to them.
Not to them. Yeah, so that's another insignificant but interesting, difference. Also, before we came, we heard that they don't have sleeping pillows that are rectangle. They're all squares, kind of like the square pillows that you'd throw on your bed for decoration. And that's not true. We found in the stores, they even have, in the grocery stores, they had some rectangle pillows. So I don't know why we had heard that, but for us, that hasn't been the case.
But you know what? We still brought our own pillow.
Yeah, we did. We did those airbags to squish it down.
To this, so the big difference in having your own pillow is like bringing your own bed on vacation.
Yeah. So. Anyway, but they do have rectangle pillows, so that wasn't true. I've noticed it's a lot drier here. Dry skin, kind of have to lotion up a little bit more. There is no buttermilk at all, and I make a blue cheese dressing, and I use buttermilk for that. I'm going to try it with a buttermilk hack with vinegar, but there's no buttermilk, and there's no cottage cheese. We bought what was supposed to be cottage cheese today, and it tastes more like yogurt. It was very good, but there's the curded there's none of that.
Yeah.
We haven't found that at all.
The buttermilk they have a substitute as kind of a milk yogurt kind of affair, and it's
fermented
close,
or something.
but it's not buttermilk.
Yeah, it doesn't taste the same. So
just observation. It's one of those things you kind of. What do you mean there's no buttermilk?
Yeah. Anyway, that's kind of the end of our list. We don't have a lot, but we thought these are kind of some fun things that we've noticed that are different, and.
But we'll keep you posted.
Yeah, we'll probably come up with a lot more.
There'll be more, so
I think the biggest thing.
Stay tuned.
The biggest thing too is the store hours. Oh. Is that they close at 12 or 12:30 every day for lunch, and most of them don't open back up. Whether it's a small grocery store or a butcher, they open back up around 3.
Yeah, the corporate stores stay open.
Yeah.
Pretty much all day, except Sunday. They're closed at 12:30.
Yeah, but you can't just go. Let's go get a sandwich, and it's well. Wait a minute, we can't get a sandwich until 2 or 3 o'clock. So you have to realize that they have hours, and they close everything.
And the other thing,
during that time.
Restaurants, I think we mentioned this before, is that eating time starts at 7.
Yeah.
Ish, and it's more like 8, 8:30.
Yeah, for dinner.
So if you go and you just don't show up at 8 o'clock and say, I'd like a table for two.
No, you need to have reservations.
Yeah, tomorrow, next week, sure, we got that.
Yeah.
But not tonight.
Right.
So you got to get your reservation in if you're going to want to go out to eat in the evening.
So you find yourself planning your day around when things are going to be open or closed. So it's kind of funny.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's all for today.
Yeah, well, that's
And
good. Thanks for coming, and we
enjoyed it.
appreciate you being here and watching us. And
So-
we will keep you posted on what we observe. So I know you're just excited. So
We would appreciate it if you subscribe and like our videos, and we thank you for watching.
all right, talk to you. I'll be on to 'em.